It's a beautiful sunny day, but if you're living in the same kind of area as me, it was the first frost. So it's that transition, that time of year where it becomes wintry season rather than that just the golden colors, the beauty of the fall. But we kind of go into the mode of a bit more cold. And now it kind of flips back and forth a little bit. But I do think the first frost is where, you get flowers kind of crumple and die. And that leads me also to when we change the clocks, we get less light. And that brings something called SAD, seasonal affective disorder, if you've heard of that. And it's interesting, of course, that's probably deliberately chosen to make the words sad. So we don't want to be sad, but sadness is a natural expression of our feelings, our emotions. So recognizing, feeling our emotions and processing them, what better way than to use something like yoga to do that rather than stuff feelings. And this is a little blend that I was going to do today, because rather than just yoga, I look at all kind of modes of movement and spiritual experiences. And the Eastern traditions see each season with a different organ body. And the season for the fall, and as we go into the sort of colder weather, is the lungs. It's the lungs as the main organ, and the large intestine as the other organ that kind of partners or mirrors it. And so we'll have a little focus today on the lungs, which house sadness and depression. And it's what we can feel of those emotions and how we can let them out, how we can picture letting out the negative feelings of that and bringing in the positive sides. So I hope you'll enjoy me on that little exploration. You can maybe hear that I too have had some sadness in my lungs, in that I've had a really hefty cold this week, and that has brought out the wateriness of the lungs. So you'll have to excuse me if I have to reach for a tissue and deal with my lung situation. So that said, just feel yourself in your comfortable seat, your feet on the floor, you feel your legs on the chair. So finding your foundation. And rising from that foundation, the spine lifting up, the crown of the head reaching tall. And enjoying the process of your beautiful lungs, taking a few rounds of breath, seeing that expansion and contraction. Perhaps just with a little bit of gratitude that you can breathe. The systems of breathing coming in through the nose, feeling the movement of air coming down your throat, and the expansion of your chest, ribs, and beyond, and the contraction, the closing those parts. And you might feel that expansion also then to the belly. So we feel the belly move as we breathe. We can't take in breath to the belly, but we feel the result of taking in breath in the belly. And then we'll bring the hands onto the lung areas. So we put the hands onto the chest. But underneath there you have your glorious, beautiful lungs. And there you can feel the lungs move as you breathe. Start to feel some of the openness, the welcoming of that as we breathe and move. Breathing in, Let the hands gently draw away, feeling openness, light coming in. And breathing out, bringing the hands back to the lungs and feeling that safety, security, stability. Try a few breaths with that, moving the arms at wherever feels good to you. But expansion, openness, light, and a sense of coming back home, security, safety. As you do this, notice if your spine wants to also undulate, giving a gentle lift of the chin as you open out, like you're reaching for the light. And the chin starting to come down. So drawing in, breathing in and opening out, and breathing out and drawing in. And this time of year, that balance, seeking out the light, the colours, the sunshine, and withdrawing somewhat to find a safe space. Pause with the hands in place, and then we'll begin to circle out through the upper body. And already that little bit of movement, it kind of catches in the chest. That's okay. You can change the direction of the movement, and you can do that at any time rather than just circles, making the odd spiral, semicircle, swirl, or smile. Let's find our center, and we'll connect to the lungs a little bit. And again, this may loosen things up. It certainly can help loosen the breath. Soft wrists, and begin to tap around the lungs. You can get clear about where the lungs are. So if you tap even just above your collarbone towards your neck, the little tip of the lung there, it's almost like the tip of a dog's nose, goes all the way up there. And yet you can tap down the side and be tapping almost down to your waist. And if you feel your ribs, and then we'll just do a little side bend there to help you feel the ribs. You know what? The potentiality of your lungs goes all the way down there. Isn't it amazing? Super. If you can reach a little to the back there, tap the back of the ribs and you'll make a sound, ha, and you're getting the lungs a little clearer, ha. Come back up and tap just at the top of the back, ha. Super. Just pause for a moment. We can feel the tingle in the hands and take a breath into that side of the body. Maybe you feel that sunny expansiveness on that side. Fullness, plumpness. Let's do the other side. So you can tap right at the top of the lung, just up above the collarbone, past the breastbone, at the top there. And then a little down to the front. And this is like a Tarzan spot. You can also, don't be afraid to make a noise. We're making a little noise today, so it's very good for us. So leaning to the side, and you can feel those ribs down there. You have lungs. And you can move a little side bending there, opening, stretching into the diaphragm, your breathing muscle, which is attached to the lungs, by the way. Feeling your breath moving in and out. And then lean a little forward and see if you can tap into the back. And again, any sound. Ah. Coming up, and see if you can tap your back, like giving yourself a pat on your shoulder. Again, any sound you want to make. Making sound. It always makes me laugh, which is fantastic for your lungs. Okay, pause for a moment. Just notice your breath. Maybe you have a bit of volume to breathe in now. Yes, that feels so much better already. I love that. Let's move the shoulders a little bit and loosen up that top part of the lungs, rolling the shoulders up and back and down. And feel the breath loosening this whole area. And if you could imagine these lovely two lung sac things, you're kind of shrugging them up and down. You're kind of pulling them up right and down right now. I like that kind of idea. Super. And they're suspended from the area around the heart, around the breastbone. They're, you know, hanging there. So they are kind of moving in the shrug. Let's see if we can get them like really nice and open, taking the elbows out to the side and draw the lungs open at the front and closed at the back. And then really round in and push the lungs into the back of the ribs. Let's take a breath in, open the front of the lungs. Round in, press out here. So take a breath out here, but then take a breath in into the back of the lungs. Exhale it out. Ah. Now open up, elbows back, lift the front of the lungs, breathing in. And then dare to breathe out here. Ah. Breathe in here. And then breathing out, rounding in, pushing the lungs to the back body. Ah. Fantastic. Come into neutral. Relax the arms by the sides. And then we'll just see if we can swing the arms. And I like that if you're standing too, you're welcome to do that. Keep feeling your breath flowing. That nice looseness of the arms. Imagine your arms are swinging from your lungs. Well, they kind of are in a way. It depends on your imagination. Swing one arm forward and the other arm back. So loose arms from strong, stable, resilient, flexible lungs. And it lifts our mood when the breath flows and the lungs feel light and limber. Fantastic. Bring the fingers to the shoulders, and let's move back into some of those side bends. Exhale as you stretch it here. Ah. Breathing in, come up. Exhale to the other side, reaching the elbow. Feel that sideways. You're really getting a long lung on this side. Bring it into center. So let's go again to the left. Right elbow up. Long right lung. Squashed left lung. Ah, can you do that even more? Go into center. And we go to the other side. So you're squashing the right lung, stretching the left lung. We're going to go one more each side. So you can picture that like a sort of accordion stretch. Beautiful. And to the other side. Ah. Super. Coming into center. Now we're going to twirl the lungs around the spine. Have you thought about swinging your lungs around your spine today? Well, currently that's what you're doing anatomically, swirling your beautiful lungs around your spine, and they're enjoying the dance. And if they're not, do it in a way that your lungs enjoy the dance. And they're breathing at the same time. Imagine that. Wow. Superpowered. Fantastic. We'll do a little reach as we do that. And then, you know, your lung has to kind of spiral around the spine as you reach and curl here a little. Breathe. Energizing the lungs. And those lovely lungs are swirling around the heart in the center. Super. Brilliant. Bring it back into center. Just check in for a moment. Notice how you feel. It's always a chance for a sip of water if you need that extra hydration. And every organ in traditional Chinese medicine has a yin and a yang, so like a soft version and a more fiery version. And the partner version for the lungs is the large intestine. So we're just going to find the large intestine here. So if you go into your low, like into the crest of your right pelvis, so I'm not going to mirror you on this one. So you have to go into your own right side. This is actually my right side. I usually mirror. But if you go into there and you've got the first part of the large intestine, it's actually where your appendix is, if you know where that is. So you can give a little massage and rub there. And if you lift up that same leg while you give a little swirl massage, you'll be massaging into the beginning of the large intestine. This is really nice. So I mentioned water because the job of your large intestine is to absorb water back into your system. So if water's not being absorbed, it's kind of pointless drinking water, really. So that sounds crazy, but we need absorption. So then we'll draw up the right side here. So when we do a side bend, this would stretch here, right? And the other side would squish. So we'll come up and we're going to track across the transverse colon. And so we can twist there and feel now you're moving, like giving a little kind of stretch and swirl and spiral to the transverse colon. And then we'll come into the descending colon, which is down your left. So this is my left. I'm not mirroring you. It would feel too odd to do that, to be authentic with you. But we've got that going down. It becomes the sigmoid colon into the rectum, and down we go. And then if you kind of stretch this one too, you're kind of stretching that out while you're squishing the other side. Lovely. So then we can also dig into that corner, into the low part of the pelvis, and just get the base of the descending colon as it goes into the sigmoid. So what have you been doing today? I've been squishing my colon. And of course, if you get digestive problems, not great, right? So I like to do these little sorts of things if I feel a bit stuck. Fabulous. And if you take the legs a little wider and circle out, you're going to be getting more of that gut area. So our precious gut absorbing water, its own world of microbiomes. There's more of them than you, by the way. More bacterial cells than there are your DNA. Ah, we're being taken over. Circle the other way. Ooh, we're stirring the pot. Little Halloween brew of toads and lizards, and I don't know what's going on in there. Super. Bring the feet a little bit closer together, and we'll hug. Now I'm going to mirror you. Your right leg in and squish. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale it out. Another good deep breath. And squish. We're going to stretch after the squish. So you're going to turn out towards your left and see if you can bring that right leg down. And now we've got a lot of space now. So that would be in your ascending colon if you're going toward the left and it's your right leg. So giving that nice stretch there. And if you want to reach up the arm as well, you're stretching that whole side of organ layering of intestine, lung, stretching and making space. So creating this beautiful joy through your body and your experience of this moment. Breathing it in and letting it go. An endless cycle. Taking in and releasing what we don't need. Super. Bring the arm down. And we're going to do a little of that to the other side. So bringing the other leg in. So if this is your, let's see, your left leg, it's your descending colon. And just breathing into that space, hugging in, stimulating the massaging, helping peristalsis, helping movement of things. So there's no stagnation. And as you know, the winter starts to come along, we can think of stagnation, but there's always life moving and we want to keep it that way. Breath moving. Super. Bring the leg down and let's do the stretch for that side. So turning out toward your right, bringing the left knee down as best you can and feel this lovely space now. It's unsquished. It's going to be stretched a little. Yeah, you got it. Reaching out the lung. So you're stretching the lung intestine, that whole line of the body. The arm just sits on the top. You don't have to do anything hard with your shoulder. It's the beauty of your organs. Plump, resilient, delicious. Letting yourself breathe down that whole side of the body. Bring it all the way back and down. And then we'll take the legs wide and just do a little swish from side to side. So swirling along, swirling in. And this is a crazy lady getting me to swirl my lungs and intestines. Really, it's not so crazy. It is really. And where we put our focus and bring us joy and presence in the moment. All right. So bringing it back, feet a little more close together. We're just going to move the spine in a little flexion and extension and see if we can feel some of that lovely experience of the lungs. And then we're going to get up and do some standing movement. So sitting in cat and cow, you can always come to the floor, by the way, to do cat and cow if you want to, or, you know, rest against the wall and do that. So otherwise, hands to the legs. Breathing in, let your lungs lift up and spread across your chest. And breathing out, rounding your back and pushing your lungs toward the back. Take a few movements and see if you could picture these beautiful lungs opening at the front and then pressing to the back of the body. Or perhaps you're able to even add the line of the large intestine too. Stretching and opening, and then retreating to the back body. With your spine in the center. And breath being the source of the movement. Couple more. Super. See if that's got us sitting nice and tall. We can come to the edge of the chair. And then do a few sit to stand movements here. So key for getting us long and straight in all of these organs rather than squished up all day. So I hope you'll join me. I'll give you a 3, 2, 1. We're going to get up and down out of the chair 5 times. If that's not doable, then you can do a little rock and press like that. Otherwise, 3, 2, 1. Let's get up. Beautiful. I love to see everyone getting up out of that chair. Slow, steady release down. And we're going to get them again. Very nice. Elegant, easy, stretchy organs, lifting you up. Last couple, as we get up, see if you can let the arms come up as well, like all the way on the top, sitting on the lungs, very easeful. And then we go again, strong legs, up we go. Beautiful, and we're going to stay up here, shake it out a little bit. And that, you know, it's good to be alive. The sunshine and the crisp days, so beautiful. Super, let the arms gently come back down. Give a little bounce into the knees. And it's time to make just that little bit of noise. So you can tap the chest, tap the sides of the lungs. It's great. Good job. Take that pause. So that moved something in me. Has it moved anything in you? Has it moved the energy? I like the feeling of the movement. So I'm going to have the chair as a support there. You don't have to use the chair, but if you need the chair, it's good to have. One of my favorite stretches, we can say it's for the hip flexor, but I like to think of it actually this as for the large intestine. So if you take your left foot back, and this is my left foot, so I'm telling you the truth, and just move a little back and forth between the legs. So you'll be using all of the lower limb joints, your feet, your knees, and your hip joint, and do it at a stance and at a pace, a rhythm that feels good and comfortable, steady. So we're kind of waking up the joints, ready so that we can come into a lunge position that it may challenge the muscles of the legs and the joints, but it shouldn't hurt, right? So this is strengthening here. We can feel the quads. Can you make sure the back heel is lifted? I see that's tricky for a lot of people, especially as we get older, to have that real nice lift into the heel. At the same time, actively push your heel back in space. And what I can feel is this pull into this area of my body. It's not just my hip flexor, it's also the deeper inner tubing. Perhaps you can feel that too. And what if we want to stretch and reach the lung as well? So reach up the arm and feel that delicious pull through the center of your body. If it pulls on a joint or irritates, it's not such a good pull. We want to feel our deep center getting a good stretch. If you want to lean over across a little bit, you may even get even more delicious stretch. And check in with your breathing. Full, spacious. Super. Bring the arm back down. I'm going to do a little movement from this position. So you might need to change your stance. I'm going to hold on with one hand. The back leg, I'm going to press into the front leg and bring the back leg up and squish a little bit. So we press down. So this is a little bit of large intestine getting a squish. And if you can, reach it out and back. So that whole line of the body, then hug it in, round it. You got it. I'm seeing some beautiful moves here. Reach it back. Exhale, hug it in. If you can, one more. Hug it in. And then pause, balanced on one leg if you can. You can hold the chair or not. It's up to you. Breathe. And you can hold the chair and shake that leg out. Shaking out any tension in there. Super. Put that leg down and shake out the other leg, because I'll bet that other leg has been working hard to support the balance. Probably. But jolly good. We're going to do that same thing on the other side. I'm just going to change the chair around so you can see what I'm doing, but you're going to take the other leg back. You don't have to begin too much too soon. Warm up the joints, get all of the joints comfortable. So you've got an ankle joint moving, a knee joint moving, a hip joint moving. Your spine compensates to that. It's fabulous. And it's a nice sort of more global type of movement. We do that to warm up so that you're able then to challenge and maybe say, now can I set into the pose a little more proper? Back heel lifted. It's not a warrior pose. We're looking at the hips kind of facing forward with a lunge pose. Then if you can, reach up the same side arm as the leg that's back and reach. Heel reaches back in space. Fingers reach up. Breathe. If you want to lean a little and stretch that a little more, the lung, the intestine, you feel that stretch going then through your leg. One more lovely breath. Super. I can hear gurgling. I hope you hear the odd gurgle. Your own, not mine. Bring that arm down. Make a little space around the chair for the movement part of that. So it doesn't have to be a big stance here. But then see if you can shift your weight to the front leg. Round in. Breathe in. Stretch it back. Breathe out. Squeeze it in. So we digest a day. Breathing in, reach it back. Breathing out. One more. And then see if you can pause in the balance. You can hold your chair. Feel that this lovely long length through the center of your body. Upper body lifts naturally. It's light, it's buoyant. And of course, the lungs are quite buoyant. Breath. Let's bring both legs down to the floor. Oh, no, we've got to shake it out again, I think. That would be great. A little shake out. And another shake out for the other side. Super. Let's come to the back of the chair and we'll take the legs a little wider. I'm going to move the chair so you can see. So imaginary chair in front of me, taking a little wider stance with the feet out, and we can just give a little bend and stretch into the knees. Don't go too far, don't annoy the knees. But you might feel that as you bend, you feel this movement of the thighs opening as you straighten. They close in. And then coming to the point where you feel okay into goddess pose. So this is where we'll challenge the lungs that little bit. Yeah. So I'm going to do a little opening close, like a bellows here. So as we open, breath in, exhale, close in and bring the elbows towards each other. Chin can come down a little bit. Breathe in, open out, like you're opening a beautiful window with light streaming in. Breathe out, close in. Feel the lungs press a little to the back. Breathe in to open. And breathe out to close. One more. Exhale to close. Beautiful. Bring the arms out to the side. This time we can open out, open and close the fingers. You can bring your right hand down toward your right thigh and take the left arm a little over, opening out the lungs, stretching that out. Bring that all the way back down to the other side. These are nice strong legs. Bring it back and down, and then just bend and stretch just that little bit. So thank you, knees. Thank you very much. Let's bring the toes parallel. Heel toe the feet back in towards center. So they're about hip distance apart. Keep a soft bend into your knees. Let's just do that little sun salutation celebration for the lungs. Breathing in, let the arms rise up. And breathing out, let the arms expand out to the sides. Fill the space. Breathing in, let the arms rise. Breathing out, reaching out to the side. One more like that. Let's reverse the way that we're moving the arms. Breathing in, let the arms reach out and up. And breathing out, bringing the hands back through center, palm to palm. Let the arms spread again, breathing in. And breathing out. And one more. Let's take the hands behind us and interlace if you can. And let's really get that nice lift of the chest. And keep a teeny bend to the knees here rather than lock the knees. Get that lower body support. But lift the lungs, open the lungs, up, 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 up to the sky. Stretching the fingers back. So you can be in the pose, even if it's a little challenge. And then breathe. Openness, spaciousness. Release the hands, bend into the legs, hands onto the legs, and then round in a little bit. As if you have the sun on your back. Press the floor away, come all the way up. And if you can use the chair, we're going to do, in yoga, there's something called upward facing dog. And normally you do it on the floor and your arms would be like this with your palms up. And you'd be putting your weight into your hands and your feet and lifting your chest. So you could do that at a wall if you wanted to. Or we'll do our version of the chair where we'll hold the chair and then lift up the chest here. If you want to also lift the heels, you could do that. Just whatever feels steady. Breathe, there's no strain here, just do what you can. Deep breath in. Full breath out. One more. Softly letting the heels come down and walk your feet back and come into a downward dog. So a downward dog you could do on the floor if you like, or on the chair, or at a table. Now it's important not to let your shoulders come to your ears, so give yourself a lot of space around there. So the top of the lung wants to stay away from the ears. Give it space. Breathe. You can really let the breath come into the back of the body. You have lungs at the back there. Let them press to the ribs as you breathe in. And exhale, breathing out. Let's walk our way to the top of the chair. Give it that one little shake out. And we're going to come back into the chair. And I'd like to share my practice for getting rid of sadness in the lungs and lower intestine. And this is, if you're interested in this, it's from The 6 Healing Sounds by someone called Mantak Chia. And he has a very beautiful spiritual practice, and you do each organ actually every day with a different sound. But time only allows me today to do the lungs and the small intestine. And the sound is a S sound. So when you breathe out, you're going to breathe out S. And I love the practice of imagery. So it's perfect for me when I'm breathing out like a black smoke, and seeing that come out through my ribs and come out through my fingers, getting rid of all the sadness that I feel. But first I have to connect. First is to rub your hands together. And when we do that, we create this beautiful electromagnetic energy. It's your life force. It is pure energy. See if you can feel that energy, just bringing the hands a little apart, and you can feel that little buzz between. So put the hands onto the lung area, the front of the lungs, and just for 10-20 seconds, listen to any message. If there's any sadness, depression, constriction, do you feel anything? And let there be any messages come through. Try not to think it. And we'll take a nice deep breath in here. Begin to move the hands away from the chest and start to lift the hands up, 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 up. And as we breathe out, we and see all of that sadness and depression leave as a grey smoke. We'll do that 3 more times. Breathing in, light, white light energy. Breathing out, dark, smoky sadness. Breathing in, light. And breathing out. One more time. Feeling that breath of white light coming into your lungs. And breathing out any dusty, stale negativity. Then you can place the hands onto the lungs, and while we get rid of our sadness, our dark thoughts, see if you can breathe in courage, right action, openness, clarity, courage, right action, clarity. And be thankful for the lungs for processing our breath, for being part of our immune system, and also for the large intestine, also for our immune health, for absorbing water. I'm grateful for our beautiful organs for doing that. Let's just rest the hands down for a moment Move into the feet energy, tap at the feet, a little tap at the feet. Give them each a paddle, a point and flex, a roll of the ankles. And our feet and legs are part of our kidney energy. That's another story for another day. We're grateful for those too. Let the feet rest, rub over the knees and the shins and the legs. And we'll bring the right elbow toward the right thigh. Let the left arm swing down. Breathe in and open out your right lung, finding sunshine, brightness, light. Breathing out like a protective cloak, let that swing down. Breathing in to open. Breathing out to close. Breathing in to open. Breathing out to close. Swing the opposite elbow to the thigh, and we'll just do that gently to the other side. Breathing in, swinging that lung open, peeling the lung out. And breathing out like a precious cloak, protective. And down. Breathe in, reaching up. Breathe out, bring it down. Breathe in, open. Breathe out and close. Rest for a moment, and if you're able to fold down for a moment, come into that sort of winter mode, just folding in, wherever's a comfortable but protective, safe space for you. And pause there just for a moment, and I have a lovely, beautiful poem for you from Dana Folds, a beautiful yoga poet. It's called There Will Be Spring. Fall is at its most exuberant today. I point to an exquisite maple, leaves like orange flame, and say, when I go, I want it to be that way, a blaze of glory, nothing held back. I want to celebrate until the last leaf blows off my last bare branch, and trust that, of course, there will be spring. So let yourself arise all the way up, up, up. Peel off this autumn sweater, open it out. Stretch and open, close the hands, the fingers. Stamp the feet a little bit. Drum the chest, the lungs. And I hope that you're ready for the rest of a beautiful autumnal, chilly autumn sweater day. Bring the hands to the heart, because the heart says thank you very much for coming today and practicing a little organ yoga practice today. It's a pleasure to share it with you. I hope you enjoy the spin on it. And namaste.